About a few months ago, I released my first short film, The Weekend, on YouTube. And during the making of my process, I was telling, family and friends about it. And they were wondering, like, one major question was, I guess, how long it was. And for me, like, even at that moment, I didn't know how long the movie was going to be. I had an idea it was going to be like 10 to 20 minutes. But they were like, no, 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 it should be longer. It should be like 30 to 45 minutes. I'm like, what? Like, the whole process of The Weekend was hard enough. I'm like, they want me to make it extra longer. And, it took like 2 months of shooting, a month of editing. It was already a long process. And, making my next one right now, it's even a longer process because it's a longer movie. But it just made me think of, like, I guess, the movie length and how long it should be, comparing to like other people's minds. Like, some people have this mindset that short film should be short, like below 10 minutes or even below 5 minutes. And then some people were like, no, it should be like at least 20 to 30 is a good number. But it just really just depends on your style and what you prefer in like movies in general. I guess like most movies nowadays are like between 1.5 hours or 2 hours. I think for me, like, I just prefer like two hours and 2.5 hours, anywhere between that time, because like it gets everything in that time frame, and it doesn't like feel too rushed. It doesn't feel too short, and it feels like a good movie length. Anything like that's 3 hours or longer is like, it's only necessary if it's like a big movie, like a big historic piece, or like, Marvel movie or whatever. Zack Snyder's movie was like, Zack Snyder's like Justice League movie was like 4 hours or something. That's really crazy. But that movie was a big movie, so it deserved that length. And I guess like when I hate when I hate most is like when a movie drags on too long, and like it feels like it's like never ending. And I'm sure like you guys had that experience, like when you're in a movie theater, you're checking your watch, and then you're just like waiting because you got hit traffic on the 5 o'clock traffic on I-4 or whatever. And then and then you're like, okay, when's this movie gonna be over? And whenever you're like making a movie or a short film, you just gotta keep, like, I guess, the pacing in check and make sure it's not outstanding its boundaries and outstanding, like, I guess, boring people. And I think that's a big thing as well. Being like, a movie needs to be entertaining. That's why we go to movies. That's why we make stuff in the first place, is to entertain people. And I guess like if you overstay your welcome, you're allowing people to get more bored with your work than allowing them to enjoy it. So yeah, like pacing is a good one. Like, it could be either too long or too short. Like, it goes both ways. It's a double-edged sword. If a movie's too short and it just feels so rushed, you don't feel like you had that experience. You just felt like you just like put it on 2 times speed, and you just like watch like a YouTube video basically. And instead of watching like a movie should be well paced. It should be that's what I try to make with my movies. I try to make it well paced, especially the movie length that I made for The Weekend. It came out at 13 minutes and something seconds. I think it was perfect length. I think it was like really good pacing. Maybe like the flashback scenes could have been like a little bit more slower, but overall I was really happy with, like, I guess, the beginning, middle, and ending of how it turned out and how the pacing was overall. And I think for this one, Pick Up at Arby's, my second one I'm doing right now, I'm trying to make the pacing even more better. It's going to be like about like 20 minutes or so, but that's like what it needs. It needs that sort of story because the story takes place about a week or so. It's about an Uber Eats driver, and it's about this whole thing with the mafia finding him and stuff. So it takes a while for him to find them, but like that's the whole point. The pacing is supposed to be slower. It's just supposed to be a slow paced, I guess, movie. And I guess like The Weekend was that kind of as well. But I guess when a movie is too fast paced, it doesn't feel like you're in the moment. It just feels like it's going by so fast. My first one, The Weekend, it was really funny because, we sent it out to people. We sent it out to directors and, people. And my dad knows actors and stuff. So we liked sharing it. We shared it to friends and family and stuff. And a lot of people said like two things. It should be either shorter or longer. And even like before and after the movie was made, people said it should have been longer. And a lot of people said it should have been shorter because I guess the rule of thumb is for short films and stuff, it should be under 10 minutes. But the short film, there's plenty of short films out there on YouTube that you can watch that are over 20 minutes and over 30 minutes. And sometimes even those rare ones where it's like 45 minutes. For any, like, I guess, like, beginner, because I know some of you guys here on YouTube watching me are filmmakers and stuff, don't make a 45-minute movie. I mean, like, some people have done it. I know this guy, I forget his name, but he was on Kent Lamb's story course, and basically he was talking about how he made this 45-minute movie, and everyone told him not to because of the pacing, and why would you even make like a 45-minute in the first place? Like either a short film or a feature film. I guess like a feature film, like that rule of thumb is at least like an hour and 20 minutes. That's like, I guess like if you look it up on Google, it says that as well. It needs to be an hour and 20 minutes to be like a full feature movie. But at the end of the day, it just really just depends on the story. It depends on the pacing as well, and just really just depends on the movie in general. There's no right or wrong way of like doing it. There's no perfect answer. It just depends to you. It depends to your audience and what kind of story you're telling in the first place. And that's like the main thing that you have to focus on. It's the story that you're telling. How can you tell it, and what's the best pacing that you can present the story? You know, there's movies that I've seen that are an hour-long movies, and there are movies that are like 4 hours long. There's no right or wrong. There's no rule. What I love about filmmaking is like I'm learning this more now since I'm getting more of my hands on in like I guess the field and doing YouTube and stuff, and hearing other people's opinions is there's no rules. There's no like thing you have to follow, because everyone, all the filmmakers that you see in Hollywood and stuff, they all break rules. If you hear something from a person, it's not a rule, it's just their opinion. And I just love that because there's no limits and you can basically do anything you want. And yeah, I know this video is kind of going off topic and stuff, but there's no rules. Whatever, like if you're making a short film, you can make it like 1 minute if you need to. If the short film is just like you gotta make a cup of coffee and that's like that's the movie or whatever. And or you know I actually did see a short film recently that was 1 minute long. I forget what it was, but I'll put it on screen here if I can find it. It was about this guy who was getting a like a soda or something from a convenience store, and he got his bike stolen. But that was like this whole short film. It was just 1 minute long. I guess it was more of like a screen test, like for the camera or whatever. But it was still fun nonetheless. It was still like I guess a fun story, and whatever. Anyways, that's about it, guys. My next one, pick up at Arby's. Hopefully it'll be like 20 minutes or something. I'm gonna aim for that. A little bit lower if like I get like, I guess the meat and bones like kind of tied down. And the thing with like the weekend is when I was making it, it was around 15 minutes, but when I do cut scenes and when I do cut like filler and stuff, it does end up lower. So it was like 13 minutes or something. But anyways, if you're new, join the Discord. We're talking about movies and other stuff. And if you need help with filmmaking and YouTube and other stuff, there's a link in the description. You can talk to me. And yeah, that's about it, guys. My cat's fucking messing shit up. Anyways, have a good rest of your day.